when do I need to start getting or thinking about or having a text conversation as a small business owner?
Immediately you say you want to go into entrepreneurship, we cannot talk business and not talk about tax.
Okay. What are the tax implications on freelancers and people that are doing side hustles?
You must make sure that you keep receipts. Everything that you are buying, it is so important. All right. So as soon as at the year end, you must declare this is the income that I have made, but these are also the expenses. That's the awesome thing about being a freelancer or doing a side hustle.
There's also this rise of working from home. How does that implicate our taxes as freelancers and also small businesses?
When you're working from home, there's an office tax that you need to declare to say, in my house, there's a certain space that I use for tax. Therefore, you need to take pictures of the office. It must make sure that it looks like an office.
Hello, Resonate community, and welcome to the best and the biggest sales and entrepreneurship podcast in the whole wide world. Once again, it's never a podcast episode until I say I'm so excited for my guest. Today, we have a tax practitioner. And let me tell you something. Through my whole entire business journey, I just always thought, all you need to do is make money and you're going to be fine. And then along the way, you realize that you do need a team of skilled people to come in to help you navigate some things, because there are tax laws in whatever country you are in that are governing the business world that you need to actually adhere to. So today, we've got a tax practitioner all the way live in South Africa that is going to teach us what we need to do to be on the right side of SARS as small businesses, medium businesses, and big businesses. So thank you so much for joining us. Happy Mashomane.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
It's a pleasure being here.
It's such a pleasure to have you. I'm so excited to talk to you because I think tax is one of those things that we fear a lot. We just like, yeah, you don't want to be on the wrong side of like SARS, but it's like, it's so complicated. I just want to make money and build a business. But before we get into the full, juicy tax information, we start our podcast with a 5 round of questions.
Yeah.
I'm sure you've watched this already.
Yeah, a lot of times.
Everybody that comes already now knows what we ask and all of that stuff. So we want to get to know you more. We want to get to know the person that we're talking to. So we start with a bit of questions so that we get to, know a little bit more. So my first question to you is, what do you look forward to every single morning?
Every single morning?
Yes.
Coffee. But apart from that, the first thing when I open my eyes, I see my daughter and my husband on a daily basis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's always powerful.
That's always.
We had a guest as well that said coffee is the first thing that they look forward to in the morning. Yeah. And I actually opened up to I even posted about it on Instagram that I used to be a coffee basher. I was like, ugh, people that drink coffee need to eat healthy, because why do you guys need coffee? And now it's the first thing I think
go
of.
to.
Before I eat, it's coffee becomes the first thing. So shout out to a cup of coffee. And then my second question is, if you were to have a superpower in the world, what would it be?
Yeah. I have never even thought about this question, and I always hear you asking people about it. Mm-hmm. But my superpower would have to have energy on a daily basis.
Wow.
Because at times I have so much to do, but so much little time a day.
Yeah.
So if I could have maybe a robot of myself to do certain things that I don't like doing, that would be so great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's dividing yourself basically.
Dividing myself in different sections to say, hey, go to there and do 1, 2, 3 and have your own TikTok account.
Yeah.
And
run that. You are the TikTok CEO.
Yeah,
you are the marketing manager.
It would be so great.
I love that. Yeah, I think we all do it, especially because I know you've got a little baby currently, so it's always
so I want to stay home and cuddle, but I have to be here, and TikTok is waiting for me, and many other things.
Yeah. Oh, man. What a blessing to have a little one. You are the founder of Sadie Holdings, which is an accounting firm, and I'm curious to know, what about your childhood has influenced the career path you chose?
Childhood. I was actually thinking the other day that actually my first career choice was dance.
What?
Yes,
what kind of dance?
Latin and ballroom.
Serious? Did you
Uh,
like go study for it?
No, I have not.
Oh.
But my first career choice was dance. And when I looked at TUT broaches, they had dance. I'm like, wow, I want to do this. But in the back of my head, I'm like, but how am I going to make money out of it?
Yeah.
Who's going to employ me?
Yeah.
Then the second choice was accounting.
Mm-hmm.
But throughout my high school, my dad used to give me a lot of books to study when it was my birthday. So a lot of those books were in biology, science, and I didn't have interest in those things. Or maybe I had interest in them, and because I was studying them so much, accounting was so much interesting because I could only learn it at school. So when I was introduced to accounting, I loved it. I loved numbers, math, accounting. It was my favorite.
It was your thing.
Yeah.
Is the mic okay? Oh, okay, so we want to bring it. Yeah, because I'm quite loud. Ne? Yeah. Maybe I'll also move away a little bit. Ne?
So we are studying. Let's start again because I was mumbling.
Is it? Okay, so do you want me to start the question again? Okay. Is it? She feels like she was mumbling, but that was perfect. I really liked that. I was happy with that.
Okay, let's go ahead.
Yeah. Should we? Yeah. We can ask another question. Yeah.
3, 2, 1, action.
That's very interesting because even when you say that, I think about how my dad also became quite a pivotal influence in the career that I chose right now, which is like an important thing to say about parenthood.
Yeah.
So you go to varsity and then you choose accounting. Do you immediately start your business after that?
Okay. Before that, my dad actually wanted me to be a pharmacist.
Wow.
Because he was working for Johnson & Johnson.
Okay.
And he thought I'll get a free bursary and study for free.
Yeah.
But when I was doing grade 9, 8, I got 0 in biology.
Wow.
Then right there, I hated biology. And I thought, I don't want to do anything related to science.
Yeah.
And accounting should be the thing for me.
Yeah.
And I went to varsity, chose accounting. When I was doing my third year, when people were applying for internships, I was like, no, I'm not going to work. I'm going to be an entrepreneur.
So you knew from the get-go?
Yes, I had this idea of going into entrepreneurship, even if I didn't know what it is.
Wow.
And it didn't make sense to me, but it was making sense in my head.
Yeah.
Then I was also involved in modeling. So
I can see that. I can definitely see that.
So they interviewed me when I was doing my third year to say, what is it that you want to do when you grow up? Like, I want to own an accounting firm. Wow. And that was written on the newspaper.
Yeah.
And I cut that out and put it on my wall.
Wow.
And that was the first time that I actually said it out loud. And from that day, I worked toward that dream.
Wow. Yeah. And it's here now.
And here we are.
So you've never had any experience for like a corporate job?
I did. Of course, people ask you, what are you going to do now that you graduated?
Yes.
Like, I want to go into entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
I'm going to own an accounting firm.
Yeah.
Like, what? No, you have to go work first.
To see how it works.
Don't have an experience.
Yeah.
Yes. Then got employed at some company. I did admin. For a year. After that, I got employed another company. I did project management, consulting.
With an accounting degree.
Audit, with an accounting degree. Forensic audit, project management, administration. And while I was working in that company, because it was a small company, you get to do everything that everyone is doing.
Yeah.
Today you're doing this, tomorrow you're doing the next thing.
Yeah.
Then we are also into a lot of tendering. While we're doing the tenders, I then realized, actually, I can do my own thing.
Compliance. Yo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so with tenders, I can do it with my eyes closed because that's what I was doing most of my time in that particular job. Then when we're doing these tenders, when you are doing a particular tender, you are responsible for it. If you win it, you become a project manager of that particular tender, right? So when we're having they call it procurement something, like before you get the actual tender, you have a particular meeting.
Yes, it's like a vetting
meeting.
process, yeah.
Yes. And while we were there, some lady was like, yo, you're so brave. How can you go and tender for this particular thing? Because there are so few people doing this. It
Yeah.
was document examination.
Sure.
And in the country is done by a very few people. Then we won that tender. And always when I thought of going into business, I think about, you are so brave.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I think I'm ready now. If I can
Yeah.
win a tender or business for this particular business,
Yeah.
therefore I can do it for myself.
Yeah. Sure. That was such big affirmation for you, I can imagine.
It was. Even today is
Yeah.
still, you are so brave. If doubts comes in, oh, you are so brave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. I think it's always important. A friend of mine always says that the dots always connect. You know, you'll
Yeah.
always look back and realize that there's actually that moment that I carry with me all the time
Yeah.
that affirms every single thing that I do right now. Oh, I love sentimental things, you know, which is really cool. All right. So tell me, as a tax practitioner, I'm sure you've seen it all. When do I need to start getting or thinking about or having a tax conversation as a small business owner?
Immediately you say you want to go into entrepreneurship, we cannot talk business and not talk about tax.
Okay.
We cannot talk about money and
Yeah.
not talk about tax.
Yes.
Actually, everybody, including individuals, people that are working in corporate, you cannot talk about salary and not talk about tax.
Yeah.
We cannot talk about wealth creation and leave out tax. All right? So it affects all of us.
Yeah.
You know, whether you're a kid on the street, you're going to school, you're buying your coffee, there's tax on it.
Yeah.
You're driving on the road, there's tax. So there's tax everywhere.
Yeah.
Even after death,
Yeah.
there's tax.
It just never stops,
It
eh?
never stops,
Yeah.
right? So as soon as you're saying you're registering your company, it comes already automatic income tax number, right?
Yes.
So immediately after that, you have to ensure that you are compliant.
Yeah.
As soon as you have that income tax number, you have a CK document, you need to start ensuring that your company is linked to your e-filing profile at SARS so that you can start with your processes of doing returns.
And you can also do your returns on the CIPC website as well. Is that how that works?
CIPC, they have its own returns,
Okay.
which are different from SARS.
Interesting.
So CIPC, you declare your income for the year. And based
Oh,
on
yes.
that, you get
Yeah.
charged a certain fee. And SARS is specifically for tax.
Yeah.
So you do your CIPC returns. And when you don't do your CIPC returns, now there's a new rule that if you don't do it within 3 years, then your company get deregistered. So a lot of people right now are sitting at home operating and making money in their businesses with a company that is deregistered.
Oh my gosh.
Because they don't know that they have to do the returns.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sure. So it's definitely something that one person should not ignore.
You should not.
Yeah. And I mean, we've been having a lot of conversations with a couple of people on the podcast around freelancing. It's a big conversation. People are side hustling now.
Yeah.
What are the tax implications on freelancers and people that are doing side hustles?
Side hustles, when you are doing freelancing, let's say photographer
Yes.
or whatever work that you're doing, you must make sure that you keep receipts. Everything that you are buying, it is so important. All right. So as soon as at the year end, you must declare this is the income that I have made, but these are also the expenses. That's the awesome thing about being a freelancer or doing a side hustle.
Yeah.
So say you have bought equipment, you bought a laptop, you bought a phone, therefore you declare those. Right,
Okay.
so it deducts the income that you have earned for the year, and it reduces your income, your tax bill. So if you don't keep the receipt, then it will be a problem because you cannot be able to declare the expenses that went through the business.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And then there's also this rise of working from home. How does that implicate our taxes as freelancers and also small businesses?
When you're working from home, there's an office tax that you need to declare to say, in my house, there's a certain space that I use for tax. Therefore, you need to take pictures of the office. It must make sure that it looks like an office.
Yes.
Therefore, that will form part of the deduction for tax as well. Yeah.
And then it'll obviously be now filing the tax. What do you file to show that you're paying rent?
You have to
Uh-huh.
ensure that it also shows on your income statement, right?
Okay.
To say there's a certain rent that goes.
So your business is paying you as the landlord. Is that how that works?
Your business is paying you as the landlord.
Yes.
Let's say you're paying yourself 1,000 rand.
Yes.
Your business, Resonate, is
Yes.
paying you, Michelle,
Yes.
1,000 rand for rental space, right? And you also have to ensure that the space is an office. And then you're going to also declare that you have chairs, you have a table, and all those kind
Yeah.
of things. Yeah.
Shucks. What have you seen as the biggest misconception about tax that a lot of small business owners have?
That you can only do your returns when you make money, when you're a millionaire. Therefore, if you don't have any money,
Yeah.
if you made a loss for the year, therefore you're not declaring anything. So, but right now, there were loopholes in the past
Yeah.
where people were just winging it, in terms of tax, because they will print out a tax certificate.
Yeah.
I'm sure you remember
Yes.
it.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It was so beautiful. Then you're like, oh, I'm in business, and you have that tax
Yeah.
certificate, right? And it will last the whole 12 months. Right now, it expires. Every now and then, when something is due at SARS, you have to do the returns. And even if you don't have any money, you have not made any money, you're not
Yeah.
yet in business or in operation, you have to go there and say you're not working. Declare zeros.
I see.
If you made a loss for the year, it's even a plus. Declare that loss. So that loss will be used in the next year to say, okay, last year I made a loss. If you made a profit, you are going to make a profit next year. It means that profit will minus the loss, and that will reduce also your tax bill. So it's very important to keep the record keeping.
Yeah.
And not shy away from it. Because if you shy away from it, then there will be those penalties and interest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which makes a lot of sense. And I also can imagine that if I am a small business owner and I think of like tax, I'm like, yo, now I must get a tax practitioner. It's probably so expensive because tax is like very, it's high up there, and it just seems so intimidating. What resources can you guide small business owners to use that are from a startup point of view, and they might not have the budget to like contact somebody like you, but what can they do to still make sure that they are tax compliant within their businesses?
Okay. I always say, if you want to grow in business, you gotta invest in it.
Yeah.
All right. I can say, just go and wing it. It's so easy nowadays to just wing things around because you log in, you put whatever that you put, and you go, I'm sorted. But when you start things from scratch, knowing what is it that is needed, like you're saying the other day, talking about business plan.
Yes.
So on your business plan, you must have a list of things that you need to do,
That's
right?
true.
A tax practitioner, an accountant, and marketing, sales, right?
Yeah.
And have an idea to say, this is how much I'm willing to pay this particular people. Then you can come to somebody like myself and negotiate, all right? I'm not going to charge you like a GSE listed company. Other than just going and winging it, because it is so dangerous to just do as you think on e-filing. Yes, it's easy. I can say, just log in and just declare zeros. But you get used to declaring zeros even if you should not be doing that. All right? So it's very important to have somebody to guide you all the time. Even if you're not paying me, but you must have my numbers on a speed dial to say, Happy, what do I do when I have 1, 2, 3? Then just go along with things. Yeah.
Makes sense. And I'm also curious to know what would be the difference between getting a tax practitioner versus going to SARS and just like standing in line and asking for help with my documents in my hands for my business.
The difference is that you'll be wasting time.
Interesting. Because obviously time is money in business.
Time is money. So you might stand there the whole day, spend your whole day there at SARS. A lot of times because you went there not yet prepared, they'll say there's this document that is short, that document. Then you still have to go back home and come back again the next day.
Yeah.
wasting another time. So you might as well just get a proper person beside you and ensure that they guide you along the way. Yeah.
Nice. We also spoke earlier about the office space for your business and also using that as a deductible. What other deductibles can small business owners or freelancers take advantage of from like a tax perspective?
I think the most important thing as you're starting out is to have a tax savings account. We have a leverage of saving, I think that is 2,000 per annum.
Okay.
I'm not sure but the figure, but close to that.
Okay.
That you can be able to save 32,000 and that 32,000 is exempted from tax
Okay.
as an individual.
Okay.
So as you're planning your what am I saying? That will be
It's no, we can cut it. Don't worry. But I'm understanding you. Don't worry.
So as an entrepreneur, is very I would like to say this, to say when you're planning your journey, especially with finances, it's very important to get advice. Like I said, don't just try to wing it, because what I'm gonna be saying this might not be applicable to everybody.
Yeah.
It's not just generic like that, because all of us are different and we're doing things in a different manner.
Yeah.
So, but the most important thing is that you have to always pay yourself a certain amount of money.
So I want you to
fixed
elaborate
fee.
on that, because remember, especially when we start a small business, we sometimes take pride in the fact that like, I'm not taking a salary from the business. I'm reinvesting everything back into the business from a financial point of view. So how would you then pay yourself back and then reloan yourself the business that money? So just take us through that structure. That's very interesting that you brought that up.
Okay. Like I said, it's not one solution fit all.
Yes, yeah,
right?
100%.
So when it depends also about the plan.
Yeah.
For this year, what's your plan for this year, next year, and the other year? Let's say you are in business, you see yourself having a car by the end of the year.
Yes.
Then if that's the structure for this year, is to say you must pay yourself 20,000 at least, so that you can afford that particular car that you're looking for.
Yeah.
So that transaction, the movement must show. You pay yourself a salary of 20,000.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Then when you go to the bank, you will have your financial statement that shows that you are paying a salary there on the expenses that goes to you, director salary, 20,000, and in your personal account, it also shows that 20,000, right? And we'll also have an accountant letter to declare that you're actually paying yourself that amount of money, right? Because you're planning toward what? Buying a car.
Okay.
But if you're not going to buy a car, then we have to look into how much are you really making per annum. Can you be able to pay yourself a salary?
Yeah.
And it's not even about are you able to pay yourself a salary. Most of the time it's because you are living off the business.
Yes. So, and because that's what I was about to ask you, that let's say I do want to get a car, but the car is going to be for the business. So the car is going to be able to deliver the goods that I sell, and it is a business expense. Do I still now need to go through that route, or does the business then purchase the car? And will the business say, I want the bank to finance this car via the business? What would be the best practice in that sense?
The best practice when you have to buy things through the company is the same process, because you are the owner of the company.
100%.
Can you be able to afford it?
Yeah.
You know, so that movement is still important, but you also have to declare profits in your business. So usually in the bank, they always say we must always at least have 2 years comparison. So you must work for 2 years and have those financial record for 2 years that will show that last year we made 1 million and this year we made 500,000. So they want to see, okay, this business is going somewhere, and they can have those comparisons.
Yeah, that's so interesting. And I think the other question that I also have for you is, like, for instance, we also used an example earlier of like a photographer, right? A videographer, that they want to start a business. So they as they start, buy this equipment for the business to run, can they claim that money back from the business as the business makes money through the year?
Okay. The beautiful thing about being an entrepreneur is that you can deduct all the things that you're spending on, vis-a-vis an individual.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
An individual, sometimes you don't have a choice, especially if you're working corporate and you have a side hustle on the other side.
100%, yeah.
So if you're working for corporate, you have a side hustle, you're increasing your tax rate. Because the money that you're going to be receiving from your side hustle will move you toward the next tax rate, which is higher than what you are getting paid at your normal work, right? So if you have a business on the side, that saves you because the income that you're going to be receiving, you're going to be reducing all the expenses, the coffees, the fuel, the repairs for the car, and the list goes on.
Yeah.
Then you can declare a loss, right? And you're not going to pay any. And even if you have a profit, that is only like 27% vis-a-vis an individual tax.
Yeah.
So with an individual, the more you earn, the more tax. With a business, it's totally different story.
So if you are a freelancer, you're offering services as a person, it would be advisable to actually register yourself as to register a business and then run everything from a business point of view versus from like a personal account.
Yes.
Interesting. I remember
And also it'll sorry.
go for it.
It'll also shake up your mind in a different setup because now you're saying you're a business. Vis-a-vis a freelancer, a side hustle, you'll act differently.
Yeah, sure, Sadie. This has been such a fruitful conversation, but for the sake of time, we're going to have to wrap it up here. And the last remarks I would love to hear from you is what would be the biggest advice you'd give to freelancers and small business owners when tax is concerned? Like contact you. That's like I must just get in touch. Just call me.
Let me sort out all your problems.
I love that so much.
But the most important thing is that they say we go to school to learn on how to call things names or to give things names.
Yeah.
Right? So the language of tax is so bombastic, similar to the language of doctors if you're not in the industry.
Very true.
So it's very important that, like I said, I'll repeat it again. Don't just wing it. Don't wing it with anything in your life. Always have somebody beside you that will guide you.
Yeah.
Whether a mentor, a coach, whoever. But don't walk through your business journey winging it because it's going to take you longer to achieve your goal vis-a-vis when we have the right people guiding you on the way. And it does not always mean you have to pay.
It makes sense.
It does not always mean I have to send you an invoice to have a conversation with you.
Yeah. Sure. Thank you so much. Happy Mashomane.
Thank
for
you.
indulging us and just, downloading all those insights. It's such an important conversation.
It was so short, like 5 minutes.
You'd be surprised. But thank you so much, Resonate community. I hope that you learned a thing or two from this episode because it's really important that in our strive to make money and to build these important businesses that we actually get right with the tax laws that exist within the countries that we are running our businesses. So thank you so much for tuning in. If you've enjoyed it, let us know what you actually thought and let us know what you actually learned. Thank you very much. We'll see you guys on our next episode. Goodbye.